Hello, everybody. It's Lucas, and we're back on my new floor in my new room. And today, we're not just doing a. We're not just beating the shit out of you, the viewer. Today, we're doing both a manga and a book haul. If my voice is weird, it's because I'm getting over a cold. And if anything else is weird, it's because my phone is breaking. I can literally not see the screen right now. But I think it only affects like what I'm seeing of the screen. I don't think it's affecting anything for you, I hope. That's my dedication to you, bro. But I wanted to do a book and a manga haul because I've been getting a lot recently. In this haul, I'm not showing everything I've gotten recently. This is mostly the things I've gotten physically and from an ad libris order. I have also made a Sci-Fire and World of Books order that are coming in right now. So I'm gonna wait to go through those until all of my World of Books orders have come in. So look forward to that. But yeah, starting off, I bought Omnibus 3 of, God, I hope you can see that, of Yokohama Kaidashi Kiku, the deluxe edition. This means that I am more than halfway through the series. There are in total 5 volumes. And this series is like a bit of a kill classic. It's from the 90s. It's about this robot on Earth. I think it's Earth, but it's kind of a post-apocalyptic, but it's a chill post-apocalyptic. Like, cities are gone, some are underwater, but everyone is just living peacefully, and we follow this robot who runs a tea shop and who waits for her creator to return. And it's mostly just vibes based, but it has really beautiful art. And I was actually saving because I bought this with my discount, because if you buy a certain amount you get a discount, and I was saving that discount for a certain other series, but I thought that series wasn't gonna come in, so I used it on this instead because this is a fatty and I use my discounts for the fat omnibuses. While I was at the store, I also bought volume 18 of Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. This is 2 of the newer characters. I haven't read this yet because I like to save up some volumes and then read them in a big chunk. In my latest read of Hanako-kun, I got to volume 17, which is good because Toilet Bound Hanako-kun season 3 is airing right now, and it is adapting from around like chapter 13 to 17, maybe even 18. So I've just about read the arc that the anime is now gonna adapt, which is always nice. But that was the first thought of the month. I was out and about in the city, and I walked past a bookstore, like a normal bookstore that sells books and not manga, and I went inside. Big mistake. Huge. Because if I go into a bookstore, I'm going to want to buy things, and it happened. I bought things because they had a sale on classics, and classics is like most of what I own when it comes to books. Because when I read manga, I read it for the story, and the language doesn't have to be very developed or anything. because obviously it's more based on like the drawings and the art and the pictures. But when I'm reading a book, I expect the language to be a bit more articulated. Like, I don't just want to pick up a book and get through it in like an evening. I want to like have the language in of itself tell me something and stuff. I don't judge people who like read book talk stuff. It's totally fine if you just want to read a book for the story. It's just personally for me, when I'm reading a book, I want to feel like my brain hurting from the amount of thought I have to put into it to like fully grasp and understand the language, which is why most of what I read a bit more classic, a bit more fine art or whatever you would say. But they had a sale on it, so I bought Frankenstein by Mary Shelley, which I've never read actually. Obviously, obviously I know about Frankenstein. I've seen the movie. You can see my bookmark there where I'm reading it. And the thing I also like about classics is that they often have like a lot of extra info. Like in this one, they have like a general introduction, a publisher's introduction, and then they also have the note and the author's introduction rewritten by Mary Shelley. I don't know if I'm unusual, but I really enjoy reading the introductions because I feel like I get to learn more about the author. And honestly, after reading these introductions, my view of Mary Shelley has changed a lot. Because before I had kind of a view of her as just like a cool goth girl, but I've definitely gotten a more three-dimensional view of her. So yeah. And I also bought A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf, which this edition also contains The Voyage Out, which I have read A Room of One's Own once before. I loaned it from the library, and I've also read To the Lighthouse by her, but I wanted to own A Room of One's Own because look at how tiny the text is. Because I mostly read A Room of One's Own because a friend recommended it, and I didn't think, oh my god, the text is so tiny, and I didn't think it would stick in my mind a lot, but it has, and I thought about it a lot over the years. And I like Virginia Woolf's writing style, even if it takes me an eternity to read it. And it makes my brain hurt. It hurts in the way that I like. Yay. And also, A Room of One's Own, if you want to get into Virginia Woolf, I would recommend it because it's quite short. And honestly, it's a bit more straightforward than her other work. Definitely, when I read it, since I only read it once, I did not catch everything, but I did understand the central message and the point, and that has been enough to make it stay for me. So I think it's a great read if you want to get into Miss Woolf. And then came the Ad Libris order. Or actually, I had prior to buying the classics, I had already made the order. Mostly because They Were 11 finally came out. And I wanted to be sure that I got a copy, and I wasn't sure if it was going to come to the bookstore near me. It did eventually, but Ad Libris actually had it a bit cheaper. Because, oh my god, we've been waiting for this for a whole eternity, it feels like. But it's finally here, and it's bigger than I thought. Like, this is it. next to Toilet Bound Hanako-kun. Obviously, I knew it was going to be bigger than Hanako-kun, but this is it next to the omnibus Yokohama Kadashikiku. Look how much bigger it still is. Yeah, and this is by Moto Hagio, a true OG, a true classic. This is my first work by her, and I've actually tried to be as blind as possible. I haven't even read the synopsis at the back, but just from the title, they were 11 exclamation mark, and from their outfits, I guess that this is kind of like the Thing story, where like it's a space crew going out into space, and maybe the crew is 11 humans, but then suddenly an alien joins and they became 11. That's what I'm guessing. And the edition is gorgeous. It has color pages, it has color pages, it has a poster.
It's fashion meets
They are like Moto Hagio with her gorgeous art. She deserves such a large print, and it pains me to say this, but yeah, it was worth the wait. Denpa got me there. If you watched one of my latest videos, I did a YAR pull, or well, the YAR told me that I should focus on collecting the rest of School Live. So I bought School Live Volume 2 and School Live Volume 9. Since I was buying online anyway, I thought, oh, I can get some cheap, short stories. So I actually got the yellow wallpaper physically. Look, it's literally like 20 pages, and I knew that because I read it before, but I think it's such a great story that I wanted to own it physically. Shout out Charlotte Perkins Gilman, I guess. And the cover is really pretty too, and it was really cheap, so I think this was worth it. And along with that, I also ordered A Room of One's Own by Virginia Woolf. Now, I had forgotten that I had ordered this when I walked into the bookstore and saw it was on sale. And then when the box came in with my order and I saw that this was here, I remembered. And I went, oh shit. But I don't regret anything because this edition, you can see, is so much skinnier, and it only has some notes, and then like the story in itself, also really really tiny font, while the other has like a whole extra story and then introduction and all that. So I think I'm just either giving this away or selling it or something. And then the last thing, and the main reason I ordered from Adlibris, was to get Bad Mormon, a memoir by Heather Gay. So, have you ever heard about The Real Housewives of Salt Lake City?
Here's a few things that I'd like an apology for. So, number one. Angie has a scroll. Why does Angie have a scroll?
I've seen all 5 seasons now, and as soon as I heard that Heather had made a memoir and that it had good reviews, I got curious because her and Meredith are my favorites. And I feel like her story was very interesting, and I got this last week, and I've already finished reading it, and it was genuinely really good, even if the chapter titles are a bit corny. They're all after songs. And I'm gonna be honest, when I was younger, I would be able to read like a book in a sitting and all that. I would plow through books. And then when I've gotten older, I thought it was just that I had gotten stupider, and that I couldn't read as fast anymore, and that I had somehow lost that. But reading this, and with how quickly I read it, I realized that it's not that I'm slow or bad at reading, it's just that most of the books I read are like Virginia Woolf fucking small text ass hard English language books. And as I said, the language is a big part of what I come to books for, but reading this Real Housewives memoir genuinely made me appreciate and remember that reading books can also, like, it doesn't have to be hard to be meaningful and to give me something. So thank you, Heather, for that. I mean, if you're a Real Housewife fan, or if you're just interested in Mormons like I now am, I would highly recommend this. So, after reading Bad Mormon and also beginning to read Frankenstein, my lust for like reading non-manga books kind of awoke again. It's been a while since I read a non-manga book, because I read a lot more in like high school and stuff, because I had a book club that I went to, and I tried going to a local book club, but it was me and like ladies in their 70s, and one of them had forgotten their hearing aid, so she couldn't hear anything I had to say. We read a great book, but it wasn't for me. But now, with reading this, I decided I wanted to get more into books again. And luckily, my local bookstore had a talk at Pride where they recommended a bunch of specifically queer science fiction and fantasy and horror. And I was mostly looking out for the horror. Because I know that maybe it doesn't seem like it based on my manga, but I love horror movies. I just generally don't, in written form, horror that doesn't really scare me. But some of the synopsises that they gave me during that talk was so interesting, so I wrote it down. And then when I went to the bookstore next time, I bought one of the ones they had recommended it. It was also on a bit of a sale because it's summer. And that was A Botanical Daughter by Noah Medlock. So this is about, it's in the 1800s, and it's two gay men who live in a botanical garden in England. And one of them is really into plants, and the other one is really into taxidermy. So they decide to create a child together, mixing those knowledges, and then they make a fucked up Frankenstein daughter, is what I'm guessing. I haven't started reading this yet, but I'm looking forward to it. Some of the other recs they gave me was also Our Wives Under the Sea, which I'm looking forward to reading. I haven't bought it yet, but I'm gonna, probably. But that wasn't the reason I was at the bookstore that day. Because my bookstore, okay, I'm gonna take the whole story. I finally got Shadow's Special Hazardous Waste Disposal. There's a long legs coming toward me right now. Hello, you're on camera. Do you know that? Are you aware of the fact? Anyway, you can look at that while I'm talking. So Shadow, if you don't know, is a 3-volume long Yuri series, and originally Seven Seas gave out the first volume in 2022, along with Black and White Love at the Office or whatever it's named. But then volumes 2 and 3 never came out until they announced that they would be printing it in a big 3-in-1. So I waited until the 3-in-1 would release this summer. I waited. I was so hyped because both this and Black and White are Yuris that I'm interested in, because they're not just high school series, they're adults, and specifically in this they are very, very muscular women, which isn't something you often see, and these ones also fight. It was supposed to come out. I was waiting. I was on Sci-Fi because I wasn't sure my bookstore was going to get it, but then it was sold out immediately at Sci-Fi. So I ordered something else instead, and I thought that I would have to wait months until it was in stock again. But then I saw it. They had gotten it in my local library, and that library is an hour away from me. I got on the bus, and I sat on that bus for an hour just to buy this and the Botanical Daughter while I was also there. And then I sat on the bus for an hour home, but I finally got it. I got the Yuri. The sweet Yuri finally is with me, and it is everything I wanted. And I will now get to read it. Yes, Yuri wins forever and ever. Well, I won't take up more of your time. Jungenskog is gonna enjoy this Yuri now, so it's time to go. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you have some Yuri or some books or something to read during these summer months, and I hope you don't get the flu like I did, and I hope your nostrils stay free and breathable. And as always, Jungenskog is here to remind you to like and subscribe, and to remind you that I can't fucking see what's on the screen because my phone is broken. But I hope you have seen the Yuri and the manga and the books and the Jungenskog, and we will now leave you. Adieu.
Don't point your finger at me. Turn your finger back at you. Get your finger out of my face.